As guys, yesterday we did cover topics of uh, related to uh, DBMS creation, database creation, how to create database, how to use it, how to drop it again. And we did cover some concepts related database, related to MySQL, and related what to SQL, that what SQL do for us. Uh, why we use SQL. These concepts we study yesterday. Today, we're gonna learn tables, how to create tables inside the database, created database. What are the data types? We will learn today. Okay, let's jump. Let me take my notepad. Okay. Now, before jumping to the concept of data type, let's assume a scenario. Suppose we have a group of people that first groups are male and second groups are, or we can say it like this. Let me take this one. Let me erase it. Why this one? We have group of two peoples or two person. First one is first person is group of boys. Second is group of girls. You can assume that we have 2 to 3 girls right in this group, and we'll have 2 to 3 boys right in this group. Now, the type of their gender are different. Their gender are totally different. For boys, we use word. Suppose we name this guy Ali. We name this guy Khan. And we name this guy ABC something. We can name it Ahmad, Mahmoud, Ali, XYZ. For that, if we point Ali, so what do we use? What we will say? That it is Ali? No, it is not correct. We should use the correct singular pronoun for that. So for that, we will use he is Ali. Now this he specify the gender of Ali for me, that Ali is a boy. And we use he with what? With the gender of male. Gender of male. Now, in this section, we have, like we can say girls, we can name it Sarah. Now, if you want to point out Sarah, you cannot use he's Sarah because she is a girl. So for that, for specifying their gender, we need to use she is Sarah. She specify what? She identify Sarah gender, that Sarah is what? Female. She's a girl. It specify their gender. Now we understand that if we use she, we are referring to gender of female. If we are using he, we're referring to gender of male or boys. Now in SQL, same like that. In SQL, we have data types. Now, what is this data type do? What does this data type do? I will draw a table Let's draw a table. I will take this purple color. Suppose I have a table of student record. Inside student record, I have to store name of the student. First of all, I have to store the ID of the student. Next, I need to store the name of the student. Next, I need to store the father name of the student. Next section, we will store email of the student and phone number or contact info. We can store. We have a table that consists of 5 fields, 5 columns. These columns are ID, name, father name, email, and phone number. Now, each of these columns is specifying as their type. That inside ID, can you store text like in your ID? Can you name the ID like a random text or something? No, we cannot use for ID random text because ID specify their self, they define their self that I need an integer value, a digit, a number. So for that, we need to add ID what? ID suppose 01. Name is Ali. Father name is Ahmad. Now email is ali@gmail.com. And phone number is 0000 like something. This is the record. This 01 record is belong to who? Belongs to Ali. Now this 01, why we use 01 in ID section, why we use name in this section, why we use Ahmad in this section, email in this section, and 00 in this section. Because these columns specify, identify, or define their self that you need to store this kind of value inside me, you need to store this kind of text inside me, and you need to store combination of text plus digit inside me, and you need to store combination of only integer or digits inside this column. Now for specifying these value, we will use data types. Now, what is data type? We will see in right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. I'll clear it. Okay. We take this and let me bring to this section. Okay, now let's take a pen. Now, what is data type? Data type refers to what? Property that specify the type of data that you're putting inside the table. Each field has a data type and all value for a field have the same data type. Now, for storing ID or numbers, we will use what? What data type? We will use integer data type. Int. Int refers to integer. Integer means storing numbers inside a fixed number. For example, I will store 01 or comma 200, or we can say 10. These number will be stored inside integer. For name, we use what? We use characters. For characters, if you're storing single characters, single like a, so you need to use char. But if you use a name, like a name is combination of characters, characters are alias consist of ALI. So for ALI, you need to use what? Text. Now for father name, you need to use what? Let me change the brush. Okay, I'll take the green one. For father name, you need to do what? You need to also use text.
Text again.
Yeah, text again. Because we don't need to insert any digits with the name, like Ahmad Ali, Ahmad Ramesh, Ahmad Falani, XYZ. We can add. If we don't want to use any digits, so we have to use text. For email, because email is combination of what? It is combination of, let me take this color, red color. Because email is combination of what? Combination of characters and what? Digits. So for that, we need to use what? We need to use varchar data type. Most of the people pronounce it varchar, so I will pronounce it varchar. Varchar is combination of like Ali 001. This combination we can add inside worker, or you can use Khan, like using inside password hash 01. These sorts of data, these sorts of values we can store inside worker data type. Now for phone number, let's take for phone number, we will use what? We will use and again, because all we use zeros and teachers value. But suppose let's take a scenario that most of the time we store of digits like this: plus 93 0 70 blah blah blah, like this. So in this case, what should we do? So for that, we need to do what? We study that we have a worker right here. So in that scenario, you can use worker for that worker data type, that if you have combination of special characters and digits as well, you can use it. Now, these were all about the data types that we study. Let me circle it for you. Okay, let me grab this color. So you can differentiate it. Now this is totally fine. Till this point, do we have any questions?
It's clear, sir.
Yes, sure. Go ahead, please. Ask your question.
I mean, it's clear.
Okay,
Thank you so
okay,
much.
clear. Okay. Sonia asked a question. Why we have used int? What that means? Sonia, int means if we want to store a data like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 210, any value that consists of only numbers. So at that case, we have to use int for that. That is integer. Okay. Hope your question is clear, Sonia. Int refers to the value of numbers. Great. Now we have different data types. For that, let's see. I took this one. So I will bring it up. Now for numbers, we have difference of data types. These data types are inside MySQL. Data types. Now you fully understand that if I'm using the word data type, what do I mean by that? You know that we are referring to the type or gender of that data, we can say. For example, I will use it. So we can divide this into different sections, but let's take it like this. I'll take a red one. For storing numbers, we have different data types. For example, first of all, we study int. If the value, this int has a limitation, if this limitation cross, so for that we need one another data type that is called what? That is called big int. BIGINT. This is another data type that if something cross its limitation, cross limit. So you need to use what? You need to use big int. Next, we have what? We have small int. If you want to store small amount of digits, so for that you can use only small int. If you use small digits larger than small int, so for that you have tiny int that will store tiny int that can store only from 0 to 255 digits. This another small int can store value from minus 32,768 characters till, this is a range, till 32,767 characters, we can say. And this big int this stores really big amounts, really big digits. Like these digits will be in pi, or data which is generating from the satellites that are doing research on the space. These data we have to store, we have to use big int for that. Next, for storing decimal values. For storing decimal values, we have what? We have decimal data type. So this decimal will store data like this, M and D. This refers to the part of this that we will store like that. If you want to store 40.32, a floating point value, so you need to store like this. Next, we have what? We have float for that as well. Where is my cursor? Okay, it's right here. Float is again the same data type which can store a decimal value. It can also store the same, like 50.52. It is again differentiate in size that decimal can store a lots of value and float can store a less value than that, like big int and int that we had. Okay, here's a question we have, what is the cross limit for int? Suppose if you store one Google value, if you draw one and inside one, beside one, you put hundreds of zero, or we can say 200s of zero. This amount is cross their limit for int. So for that, we need to add big int data type. Hope your question is clear, Feroz. Okay, Farid ask. Now these were all about what? All about the data types of storing numbers, these things. For characters, we have another section. Let's draw that also. I'll take one another pen. For characters, storing characters, we have different sections like if you want to store a single character, so you will use char. If you want to store a combination of character plus digit plus special symbol, so you will use varchar for that. If you want to store only characters that is big in amount, which we can say like text based, so you can name the data type as a text. This was all about what? All about the data types of storing characters. Okay, next we have date time, storing date. How we gonna store date and time value? For storing date and time, I will take this green one. For storing date and time, we have another section. Let me bring it right here. For storing year, month, day, and clock, time exactly, we will use date time data type. The format of storing the data is like this: year, 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 dash, month, you will specify dash, day, you need to specify, and next section will be what? You can add one space, and here is we have time, hour, minute for that, and we have second. If you add a date and time data type, the format will be stored like this, that you're gonna store till second of that exactly time. So if you want to store only year, month, and day, for that you need to insert or add what? Date data type only. So we have year, we have month, we have day. If you want to store only time inside your database, so for that you need to use what? You need to use time data type. For that we have hour, minute, and second. Next, if you want to store only year value, you need to do what? You need to only add year data type. Inside year, you can only store the year, nothing else. These were all about what? All about the data types that we need in this course. Now, till this point, do we have any questions? Which part is not clear? You have a doubt in some section, you have a doubt in some data types, so you can ask. How about months, day, year? Farid, this depends on you, but SQL, whatever format I give you, my SQL stores like this. If you add, for example, if you add in a reverse format, which you give me at the time of insertion, it will arrange it in this format for you itself if you put it in a wrong way. So the database duty of databases, DBMS, is that it will arrange it in this format and store it inside the database. Hope your question is clear, Farid.
So I got a question about the decimals and float.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
ask your question.
It was about the decimal and
Yeah.
the float.
Which
If
section
briefly
is not
you-
clear? You mean to say that what is not clear inside decimal and float?
Yeah, I was actually going taking notes. So what is the decimals used for and the float?
Uh-huh. Did you got the difference between int and big int?
Yeah, I got all those
Yeah.
parts. Yes.
Same concept applies here. Between decimal and floats. Take a float as a int and take decimal as a big int. The only difference is between size.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
I have a question for him.
Yeah, go ahead, Sonia.
This is Kathy, actually.
Okay, Katya, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Based on what you explained, you said that we have the data type, char bar, and text, right? So did I understand correctly that we also use as a data type date, time, and year?
Yeah. Katya, I couldn't got your question.
So how many data types we have in total? As date and time, and year is still part of a data type?
Okay, I got your question. Katya, for now, as of now, which we study, we need that much amount of data type inside MySQL for this course. If you explore SQL, you might face some other data type as well. But as of now, those data types belongs to development team. We don't need it. We are not going to create databases. We are not going to check databases. We are not neither we are not the database administrator. So just we are studying for the sake of your information, because at the time of creating tables and inserting values, if I use the word data type and if I use the words varchar text, these things will confuse you. For that reason, I explained it. So for this course, we need only that much data type. And date, time, year, these concepts I explained because if you suppose I will take the example of Facebook registration page, and we will create the database or table for the Facebook registration page. At that section, we have, if you can see, we have a birth date. So for that, how are you gonna store? You're gonna store with that time? No, we will store with the date format value, because inside that we have year, month, and day. Hope your question is clear, Katya.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Any other question?
Mr. Furqan.
Yes, you're storing, for example, you're storing 50.33. It will continue like this till 100, till thousands times of 3. After that, this decimal value. This is belongs to what? This is belongs to decimal. But if you have some sort of limitation that you need to add only 40.4656 till this place. If you want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times digit after the decimal point, you need to get the float data type. It is all about the size. If you want to add unlimited digits after what? After the decimal point, you need to add the decimal, because if you understand, if you study at school, that we have a pi value. Pi value stores, pi values 2.13, 14, 15. It will go like this. We have to store the pi value inside decimal. But if you want to add some sort of limitation, so for that you need to add float that. After my decimal, after my this point, floating point, after my this or decimal point, I need to add 8 to 10. I don't need to add in a big amount of data, but a big amount of digits. So for that, we need to add what? Float.
Okay. Then should we mention the name decimal or float anywhere in the table, or it just
Wait,
we
yeah,
just write the
we
number?
have to mention inside the table. For example, it is not your duty. I'm explaining for the sake of your information. Creation of the databases belongs to the database developer, not belongs to a tester. Your duty is to check. Suppose you're testing their database, so you will go and check that, okay, in this field, they are storing a big amount of data, but by mistake, developer add which data type? Float data type for that. Where is my cursor? Float data type. So it is your duty to report the database to the database developer that, hey, you're storing a big amount of value and you add a float data type. So change the data type to decimal. This is your duty. Now you got my question?
Okay, I got it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's
you're most
clear now.
welcome. Your duty is just pointing him that you're doing wrong, make it correct, make it in a good way. Okay?
Correct. Thank you. Yes, I get it. Thanks a lot.
Sorry. Let me clear this section for you. Now, till this point, we did study about the data types, that how much data types we have, which kind of data types we study inside SQL. These that much of data types are more enough for you people to go ahead and stick with the SQL according to the testers. Now we have one another concept called constraint. Before creating the tables, we need to study this concept. This concept is very important and vital for all of you. Now, let me take one another example. We have, suppose, inside SQL, constraint, constraint. What are these constraints? These constraints are not null. These are the terminologies that we are using inside SQL. Not null. Inside the table, creating the table, whenever you're storing any value, these concepts will be using. We have default, constraint, like the terminology you had inside Scrum. These are the same terminology that we will have inside what? Inside MySQL. Next, we have unique. And next one, we have what? We have primary key. Primary key. You know, these constraints are very important and play a vital role inside MySQL, inside creation of the table. Whenever you want to create a table, you need to take care of these constraints. Whenever you're creating table, you need to take care of these constants are not null. Whenever the term not null, what does it means? Whenever, let me draw, let me take this pen. If we want to use not null concept inside table, how are we gonna use it? Suppose, take an example, this is your table. Let me draw one table for you. This is your table. Inside this table, you have, for example, you have 3 columns. First column is about ID, name, and number. Okay. Whenever I'm inserting a value, suppose I'm inserting 1, name is Khan, and Khan doesn't have any phone number, or he's not using phone. So I will leave empty this place. Whenever I created the schema for that, I created the column for that, but I didn't insert any value, here will be the concept of not null come. If you don't add anything inside that, this is called null value, which we study at the beginning of the SQL. But if I add this constant, now look at the beauty of this not null. If you add not null for that, what they're gonna do? If I add a constant of not null constants means putting condition, putting rules, setting rules to the table. If I add a not null in here at that time of creation of the table, so it will do it. It will not allow us to leave that column empty. The database will prompt us that, hey, you have to insert at least something in this column. We don't need to leave it empty. So for that reason, the database will force the end user to put the data inside number, because most of the times employees are lazy, so they will leave some of the columns empty, and this will affect the health of the data for us. So for that reason, you need to set rule for that, hey, you need to add what? You need to add a not null constraint, or you need to set a not null rule for this section. For what? Because this phone number is very important. For example, if you seen some form inside the internet that whenever you're filling a form, some section of the form has a red star. That red star, if you consider that scenario, that data is going to store at the day in the database. So that red star places, whenever developer put for you, assume it that that red star section schema inside the database are not null. For that reason, they are putting the red star, and they will not let you insert and leave them empty. For that reason, we use a not null constraint. Hope this till this point it is clear. Now, what is default? Default. If while populating a table, you miss giving a column some value, the default value will be used. Suppose if it is like this. If I don't use any kind of constraint, like for example, I will set a rule for a table that suppose if someone didn't put any number inside this numbered column, so I will use a random digit. Like suppose I will use 000 instead, that it should be filled with the 00. This is the duty of the default. For example, let me take an example of this for you. Let me draw this. Suppose inside the table, you have 2 columns, name and email. You will face a scenario that some of the people, old people from the village, who have only their name, that his name is Khan, but he don't use any internet, he don't have an internet facility, and neither he don't use a phone, and he don't have a email address as well. For that section, if you apply constraint not null, so you can use as well default constraint. For default constraint, what you gonna do? And default constraint, you will do what? You will put a random data inside this email section, like 00 or n/a not null. It will be set from the development team section, that if you don't put anything, so by default it will put not null or not available value. This were all about the default constraint. What is unique? So we have a question. Default pin. Yeah, definitely. It's example like default pin here also. Huh. Okay, next we have unique. Unique refers to what? Unique refers to something which we can't duplicate it. Unique means that we can't duplicate that data. Suppose, for example, if you take as a part of number, our phone number is unique. Did you see anyone, or did you face anything case like this, that two people are using same phone number like this? No, it will not happen, because phone numbers are unique. We have some little bit changes inside that we will see the next number like this, we will see the next number like this. It should be unique digit, or it should be, suppose if I'm putting a name Ali, if I have one another Ali, so I will put Ali Ahmad. Can you see the changes difference between Ali and Ali Ahmad? Ali Ahmad here is with Ali, they are unique, they are different in name, so I will put 01 inside this, belongs side with Ali. So I'll make it unique so that I can, if I refer it, if I come after 1 month and check it, I can understand that this Ali 01 is a different person, and this Ali Ahmad is what? Different person. This was about the unique constraint. Now last we have what? Primary key constraint. This primary key is very important at the time of creation of the what? Tables. So this is combination of not null. This primary key is combination of what? Not null plus unique. We will use it most of the time for the IDs. Whenever we are creating tables and we are putting IDs inside that table, for that reason, we have to apply the constant of primary key and on the what? On the column of the ID, because it should not be duplicated and it should not be a null value. So for the ID, because ID is unique and it should not be null, so we use primary key for that section. Hope the points and constants are clear for you guys. Do we have any question till this point? Any confusions in this constant? Was it clear, guys? Or you guys are still confused there? Okay, great job. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for confirmation. Now, guys, let's jump into the creation of our tables, that how we will create tables inside our MySQL workbench. Now, all of you start your MySQL workbench. Now, let me clear the screen. Let me zoom it a little bit for you so that it will be more clear. for you guys? Everyone started their MySQL workbench? Okay, great job. Okay, now let's take an example. Let's create a database. I will create a new database. I will create what? Create database. I will name it, suppose, test1. Test1. I will name it. Add a semicolon and click on this thundering symbol. So my database created. So if I refresh it, I can see that I have a test1 database right here. So for using that database, we have a command of use database. Use what? Use test1. Use test1. I will add a semicolon. If I run this again, so you can see that test1 is expanded for me on the left hand side of my screen. So now it is ready for creating tables, for creation of the tables inside the database. Now let's assume a scenario. How do I create a table? I have to press the enter button and come to this line. So I will do what? Now I will write down a syntax for creating tables. So the syntax is, the grammar is create. Now instead of database, you need to name table, create table. Now your duty is to name the table. I will put the name student. I need to add a student table inside test1 database. Student. Now put what? Put this curly brackets. You put this curly bracket and add what? Semicolon after that curly bracket. Your duty is to hit the enter, bring it down inside here, inside this curly bracket. You need to write what? I need a column inside the student table. These columns, I need these columns. Just I will draw for you first of all. Let's draw it first. We need these columns. If we plan to make a database, so we need these columns inside the table. So I made a database. I create a database. I name it test1. This is a symbol of database. This is my test1 database. So inside that, I created one table, which is name. This table is suppose location is right here. So this table name is student table. So I need to keep the information of the student inside this table. So for student, we need to add ID of the student. We need to add name for the student. We need to add email for the student as of now. We need only 3 columns. So for that, we have to first build the structure of the database, build the structure of the table inside the database. As of now, we are not inserting any value in these cells or columns or records. So we are only making the structure, the map of the table that, okay, in this format, we will insert the data. So for creating this format, let's jump into SQL again. So for creating this format, we will use this command, this syntax, create table student, open the curly brackets. Now inside that, you need to write what? First of all, I need an ID column, ID field. So ID. Now ID need to we need to specify their type, that which kind of value I need to store. For that, I need to use int. And next part is this ID must be I need to set some kind of constraint for that it should not be duplicated. It should be, and then it should not be null. So for that, we need to apply a primary key constraint for that. So how are we going to use that? Primary key. You're set to go. You are done till this point that you create first column, first field of your table structure. Now for adding name for adding second column, second field name, you need to what? Add a column, comma, add a comma and name the field. First of all, I will add a name section. Okay, name. Okay, name is a key. Let's do it. Let's put a backtick. If you see that it's changing its color like a keyword, so put a backtick. Name. The name after that name data type is what we should use. We have to use text for that. Now, next part is I will add a comma and we have email section. So for email, we need to add which data type? We need to add worker data type, worker. And you need to specify the size of that. We can add 100. We will add 100 size, that 100 character it should get, not beyond that 100. Till this point, you're good to go. You don't need to add any extra things. Now you're done. Now for that, I need to do what? I need to run this command. How we will run this command? Let me take it in this way, so it's more clear for you. I will put my semicolon right here and I will hit the thundering button. Now what it says, below the screen, you can see create student ID and primary key is successfully executed because I got a blue green tick. Now, if I refresh it, you can see that inside a table, I got an expandable button. So if I click on that, I can see the student table. If I clicked on the student table expandable button, you can see that I have columns, indexes, foreign keys, triggers. So if I click on the columns, I can see I have ID, name, and email. This were about the GUI section. If I want to see the structure of my table, like I want to see the structure of the table inside this DBMS, which I draw here like this. So how can I see this? I will see like this. I will do this. Describe. I will use the command describe for that. D-E-S-C. Describe what? Name of the table. Student. I will put a semicolon. I will hit the thundering button. If you see, and here in the other pop-up column, navigation column, you can see that they show me the structure of my student table, that I have ID, type is int, value is null, is no, it is a primary key, default is null, extra. These are added by default by the DBMS system for me at the time of the creation of the databases. No, it is not single quote. It's a backtick. If you in your computers, under the button of the escape, find the escape button. Under the button of the escape, beside the one button, you can see a backtick. It's a backtick. We can name it. Yeah, right here you have to use it. This was the syntax of database creation, that how we will create a database, how we will select that database for creating or insert for creation of the table inside that database. Next, we study that how we gonna create table inside that database. And next, we study that how we will check the structure of that tables which we created. Now, your duty is, I will assign a task for you. Okay, I will check your runs, Masood. Let me assign a task for you. Create a database. Create DB, teacher, student. Put the attributes which I added. If you want to add some extra, fields like phone number or digit or anything, you can also add it. Just follow the rules which I follow. Next, the next thing is that you have to do what? Create after the creation of DB, create DB, use it. Next, create table. for that. Name it student, like which I did. Add some extra columns. I did add 3 columns, so you need to add extra column, and later on describe it. DESC, describe it, and see the result. Okay, we have a questions that say what is describe. Describe, Farid Ahmad, describe mean if I want to see the structure of my table, like I draw it for you right here. Nah? I didn't store any value. I draw only the map or structure that I need a table like this. So for seeing that view, that picture inside the DBMSs, so you need to use the command or syntax of describe. Okay.
Yes, sir. I just created whatever you said, like the table. I just put a picture of it.
Okay, who is this?
This is Ahmad.
Okay, great job, Ahmad. Great job, Ahmad. Okay, mine worked. Ahmad Samadi, what's the describe? Okay, as a tester, why we need to create databases? Hamdard, as a tester, you don't need to create databases. You just learn it that how they will create the databases. At that time, you will understand. If you don't have the understanding, if you don't have the knowledge of the creation of the tables, that how they create the table. So how you gonna tell them that, hey, you are voicing or you're doing it in a wrong way, you have to correct it. That's why you need to understand these concepts. Hope your question is clear. Okay, Masood, what's your problem?
I go ahead and share my screen and you can see it.
Okay, let me put this syntax inside the chat box so that others don't face any problem. Let me put this syntax inside the chat box. I put it inside the chat box so anybody can copy it, make a copy of it. Okay, go ahead, share your screen, Masood. Okay, create test one. What it says, use test one. ID primary key, name, email, Parker, handwritten. No database selected. Okay. No database is selected. Masood, it seems that you at line number 3, you only write down the syntax. You didn't execute that line. Click on that. Click on that line number 3 at the end of that test one. Yeah. Click on that executable button now. Okay. Do one thing, refresh first of all, refresh it. Let's see that you have created test one or not. Refresh it. Where is test one?
I did. Click here and refresh it.
No. On the left-hand side of your screen, where is the test one database that you created? I couldn't see any test one database.
Sir, I think he didn't put the brackets and then the cursor in the middle of the bracket. That's why it doesn't show the connection between the values.
So what I need to do?
You just do one thing. Go to line number 1. Click on at the end of that. Create database test one. Click on that executable button. First of all, let's check whether it's database.
Okay.
Yeah. Now refresh that on the left-hand side. Let's see.
This one.
Yeah. Refresh it. Now
Okay.
we are good to go. Now come to line number 3.
Okay.
Okay. Do execute it. Yeah.
Oh,
Now
it's
your
getting
duty is
there.
now come to line number 5 at the end of line number 5. No, you don't need to refresh
Do
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now click on the ring button.
Okay.
Now you're good to go. Now refresh it. Refresh it. Refresh. You can see that you have already created a table. So now your
Mhm.
duty is to describe it. Now come to line number 7. You got a green tick button. So hit the thundering button. You can see
Okay.
that the structure comes to you. Now you're good to go. You're all good, Masood.
Okay. I thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Now you can stop your sharing. Let's see the chat box. Okay, use test one, create ID. Okay. Thank you so much, Feroz. You helped him. Okay, we have only one questions. Okay, now I will give you one another task. On the
Sorry, sir.
yes, please. Who's this?
Yeah, Marina.
Okay, Marie,
Um,
go ahead.
I have problem. May I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Share it.
Okay. Now you can see it.
Okay, it seems that you're facing problem. Test one. Okay, do one thing, Marina. Click on line number 1. Yeah, execute it first of all. Okay, now refresh it. First, you need to check whether it's created or not. Okay, that's great job. Now come to line number 2. At the end of line number 2, click
Mhm.
on that executable button.
Refresh.
No, use test one. Just click on that executable button. What it says, unknown database test one. Why it says unknown database test one? If you might face a spelling mistake. Okay, you are facing a spelling mistake, Marina. Just drop that A. You can see, yeah, T E S T O N E. Yeah, now execute it. Great job. Now you're set. Now come to the line. Now after that, come to the line number 5, end of line number 5. Come to the end of line number 5. Marina, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Maybe she's disconnected or something else.
But I can see her screen. Marina, you're not audible. Okay, she might disconnected. Yeah, definitely.
Excuse me, sir, I got a question here.
Yeah, sure. Ask your question.
Actually, the table that we created, I was following you, creating table student.
Mm-hmm.
Then after describing the table, I was trying to add more columns.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like last name and the other information. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, share your screen, Muhammadi.
Actually, let me, because I'm using two laptops, one for watching, the other for working. Let me share
Okay,
the.
do one thing whenever you're working in the class. So join from that computer, which is you set up your MySQL workbench so that whenever you face an error, we can see what is the error.
I will join now with this again.
Okay. Anyone?
For her, can I share my screen?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
facing
Yeah,
something.
no worries. Okay.
Okay.
You're all
So I was
set, Katya. Excellent job. What's your problem?
I was creating an additional table with name car, but when I put car year, I see when I put int,
Okay.
it's giving me an.
Yeah, Katya, if you assume that I told you that year is again at another data type. If you can see, let me show you the slide. Let me do it, Control Z. If you see right here, we have year what? Year is another data type. Can you see it? right here in a green button.
Uh,
For that, you need to specify like this. You need to add like this car year or manufactured year. Manufactured year. You put manufactured year. Yeah. No, don't put a space. Don't put a space. Just make it underscore. Put underscore. Yeah. Yeah. This is also good. This is also good. Yeah. Now you're good to go. And now for that, no, wait. Do not execute. For that, don't need to use end. For that, you need to do what? You need to add year data type. You need to use year. You only want to store year of that, 2020 or 1998. So for that, you need to use year. Now you're set. Okay, now you're getting again error on line number 19 because whenever you're set and you don't want to add an extra column at the end, so erase that last one comma. Erase that last one comma. Yeah, if you don't want to add any column, so just erase it now. Come to line number 19 and execute it. See,
okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Can I share my screen?
Can I share my screen?
My God.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay, no worries. Let's start with the Sonia. Okay, Sonia, share your screen.
Oops. I already shared it.
No worries.
It's okay, you can go ahead.
No worries, Nasib.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's see. What's your problem, Nasib?
Okay. No problem. Just I have a question. I
Okay.
think I already created one table and I have a question right here. For the phone number, I only need 10 digit. Can I limit that? I mean, can I put the constraint for that phone number?
Yeah, you can limit the size, but do one thing. You can't do it like this, that you add a space between phone and number. Just connect them with one underscore or just join them. Do not put a space between them because SQL will consider them as a 2-column, because when you see you got an error at the end of that. Whenever you're creating anything, just watch your screen, output screen, that whether it is a blue or green tick mark or no, it's the red cross. Okay, now execute it again.
It gotta be first name and last name too.
Yeah, first name and last name too as well.
It worked earlier, and when I put this,
No,
okay,
no,
let me
it
erase
will
this.
not work. It will not work. It will not work. Okay, for that, go and
works,
make
see?
your first name and last name as well.
It works, dear Furqan. See, when I create it,
In case if it works, just do one thing. Describe it first of all. Let's watch it. Describe it. Describe teacher.
Okay.
You create a teacher, so execute that describe. Let's see. Put a semicolon.
Sorry,
That's okay, no worries.
I think it works. Yep, it works.
It works, dear Samim, but whenever in the company, it's a DBMS, it's a database management system that it has some sort of AI tools inside that installed that they understand that if user made a mistake, so they will make it correct. But whenever you're working with the shell or some other powerful tools, you need to add some, because rules says that you have to join it or you have to add a score for that. It will make it more clear for you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries at
All
all.
right. And I wanted to put the constraint for the phone number.
Okay, why you want to put constraint for the phone number? Which kind of constraint you want to put?
I want the phone number to be just 10-digit numbers.
Okay, you do one thing, put a varchar instead of int. No, not inside that code. Outside the remove int, put a varchar. Yeah, may put a bracket and head the size 11 digit. Now, as of now, you put 11 digit. it will
Mhm.
it will take even 12 digit as well, in some cases 13 digit as well. But logically it is wrong that it will do what it will, the memory overflow will happen. Most of the time, if you see that at the time of storing some value, of submitting some form inside the on the web applications, most of the forms get crashed. Because of that, we add extra size or extra amount which is defined for that table, for that field inside databases. So as a user, as a tester, your duty is to cross check these values. So you put 11 digit, but you set 11 digit constraint for that, but you're putting 15 digits. If it entered, so your duty is to report to the programmer that make a logic, write a coding logic for that inside your coding language, that it should not take greater than 11 digit, because you already set a rule for your MySQL that it needs to get 11 digit. Now you understand. Now we will cover this 11 and 12 digit, and so whenever we study the insertion part of the table. Now you
Okay.
got my
It
point?
didn't, yes, but it didn't work, dear Furqan.
It do what?
It did not work. It didn't, it
Why
says
it did not
error.
work? Can you tell me? Read the error. It says that table teacher already exists. Now for changing any kind of value, any kind of data type, or if we want to add any kind of modification inside already created table, we have one another command, alter or modify, that we're going to study in next sessions. As of now,
Okay.
leave it.
Great, thank you. And one last question, sir. For like, once again, we put this right here, little, what is this called?
Backtick.
Backtick. We put backtick for these first name, last name, phone number, but we did not put it for the email. When do we
In
put the
some
backtick?
cases, whenever we just remove that backtick from the first name and last name, you can see that it changed its color to the syntax of or keywords which is already defined to the SQL, like text as a data type. And if you see after the comma, you get a last name and name also in a blue color. SQL will assume that as well as a data type. So for that reason, we put backtick.
Okay, and why don't we put it for the email?
Because we don't have an email, because DBMS, this MySQL DBMS didn't consider email as a keyword. That's why.
Okay, so we only use backtick with the keyword.
Yeah, whenever we face any keyword, and just do one thing. If you want to add one another column text, you can add it, but just put a text backtick for that as well. Okay.
I'm sorry, say it one more time, sir.
Do one thing. Whenever you're putting, whenever, just consider it, whenever you face a name like blue in a chain, blue color, or get a color like a shape like a data type, or a keywords like create table in a blue format, so you need to add a backtick. Later on, I will explain it, that's why it happened like this.
Got it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yeah, Naseeb, Sonia, go ahead. Sonia, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Let me share my screen.
Okay, Marina. After Sonia, you can share your screen. Let me see the chat box till that. Okay, Sardar, you're next. No worries. I will check one by one. Sadaf is also raising their hands. Sadaf, I will check your ones also. I will check. Got a question? No worries. Okay, what's your problem, Sonia?
So I
Uh,
made up to here. I don't know if I'm right or no.
no, you're totally wrong, Sonia. You know why? Because you write down the ID outside the bracket. Just put that ID of the student inside that bracket, curly bracket, round bracket, which you add. And you can see that you didn't put even a correct column for that. Just do one thing. I will put a syntax inside chat box. You copy that and paste it, and I will show you what was your problem, okay?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, wait a second. Do not close
Okay.
the screen. Control C. Let me paste it in chat box. Just copy this syntax, Sonia, and paste it instead of line number 4. Get it from the chat box, Sonia?
I can't get copy of it.
Okay, do one thing. Give me a remote
Yes.
control access.
Okay.
Approve it.
Yes.
Good job. Now watch my movement.
Okay.
Now you did a one mistake that you didn't add one extra column right here. And your next task is to do what? You put ID in a wrong area. You erase this, you make it inside this. Now you're good to go. Now you didn't add even an data type for what? For your name section as well. Put a backtick. Now add a space and make it text. Now you're good.
Okay.
I will run it now. See? You can see that if I refresh that side again, you can see that I already created a table. Now, if I describe it, I'll describe it. DESC. Describe what? Student. Put a semicolon. Run it. You can see that you got the structure of that student table. Now you're good to go, Sonia.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Marina, go ahead. Sardar, I will take you after Marina. What is your problem? Okay, you're set, Marina. Excellent job.
Thank you, but I have problem with the phone number. Why I can't have my phone number in the table?
Okay, let me see. Let me see it.
Okay.
Just
It's
scroll
like
it.
this.
Just scroll it, Sonia. Okay, do one thing. I will send you a remote access, control access. Just approve it. I will make
Okay.
your screen better. Okay, great job, Sonia, Marina.
Yeah.
Okay, let me erase this section. Your screen might a little bit wider. Make it. Let me make it greater. Okay. Phone number. Sonia, you know why it's not creating? Because you add a wrong.
Number.
Yeah, no, not that one. Okay, let me check. Int 10. Okay, ID, create student. Name text. Put a phone number. It is okay. Email, you didn't get that. Email ID primary key. You add. I guess you create that student table first, and you after the creation, when you execute, you add a phone number. Am I right?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
This we didn't study till now that how we can do modification. Till now you have to create everything at the starting point. Whenever you create something and you add something after the creation, you can do it. We didn't study alter or modify commands. That's why.
So means if I wanna make another command, I need to.
If you want to make a changes, if you want to add another column inside already created table, so you need to add use another command for that. So we will study later on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're most welcome. Stop your sharing, please. Let me give you the control. Yeah, stop your sharing, please.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I want to share my screen.
yeah,
if it's
Sardar,
possible.
go ahead. I will come to you, Farid, as well.
Okay.
Sardar,
Yes, yes, I am with you.
you share it. What's your problem, Sardar?
Okay, then
You're
I
facing
try
a
to
spell mistake. Voucher, you write it voucher. So you need to add VARCH. VAR. VAR, Sardar.
That's a VAR now.
Yeah, worker. Great job. Wait a second. Why it's causing problem with name? Okay, ID section. Yeah, why it's showing error with name?
And I didn't execute it yet. Should I do it and see if it gives us it give us that right?
Yeah, run it first.
No, it doesn't.
I think
Yeah, it
it's
was
single
wrong.
code. Name has a single code. It should
Yeah,
be the other one.
name is single quote, so put it a backtick.
What is the backtick?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
can you find the escape button? Escape button. Under the escape button, you can see the escape. You can see the backtick button. Press that. Just do one thing. Remove. Just give me a back control of your screen. I will send you a request.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, approve it. Great
Go
job.
ahead.
Now wait a second for me. Let me put a space. I will erase this for you. Just do one thing. Backtick is right under the escape button. Press that button. One backtick. Put the field name and put a backtick again. Press a backtick again. Now you're set, Sardar. And now I will run this command for you. If I run it, you can see that your table is successfully created. Now, if I refresh it, I can see that table is created. So I will do what? I will do describe it. DSC.
I have a describe on number 3. Is that wrong spot?
No, that describe is used for table databases. We can do that. Describe we use. Just describe, you want to see that? What you want to see the structure of your table. So student. Let me run it for you. Now you can see you're good to go, Sardar.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Stop your sharing, please. Farid, go ahead, share your screen. Farid, go ahead, share your screen.
No, no,
Okay, what's your problem, Farid?
Oh, you see line number 9. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Okay, put a size for worker inside a bracket. Give a size of 12, 20, 50.
Where?
Any number.
Over here?
At the end for address. For address.
For add? Do I need to add?
Yeah, add it. Worker.
Okay.
25.
And
Close that bracket. Close that bracket. Yeah. Great job. Now execute it. Let's see what's the error. Now you're good to go. Describe it.
Okay.
Run.
Just a moment. Okay, thanks. It works. But the problem is that when we select voucher, we need to add a number inside the bracket or not?
Yeah, we need to specify the size as well.
It shows the size of what?
Yeah, the size of that till this number of digits, number of characters we can store inside this field.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Master. Stop your sharing, please. Okay, guys, as of now, we study that how we will create tables. We study the concept related tables, primary key, foreign key. These concepts we study. So we are winding up for today's session. The time is up. So we will see tomorrow that how we will store the values inside tables. These concepts we're going to study tomorrow. As of now, we are ended up with the session. So any suggestion, any questions? I can see, I can answer it. If you don't have any questions, just I will share the videos with you. Watch it and solve your try to solve your problem after rewatching the video. Tomorrow we will see the next session, the next concept inside the MySQL table. Okay, goodbye. Have a great time. Take care.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.